mystery and a national emergency is spreading across the waters of Trinidad and Tobago. The island nation is located in the Caribbean. It's home to a little more than 1.4 million people, and tourism is a major industry there. That's why this is such a major concern. A 330-foot-long ship ran aground and capsized there last week. Authorities say they don't know who owns it. They received no emergency calls. There were no crew members found or signs of life on board. That's the mystery part. The emergency is that it's been leaking oil into these pristine Caribbean waters. And on Sunday, Trinidad's prime minister said authorities did not have it under control. Divers had been unable to stop the leak. The oil has reportedly damaged some beaches and a reef. It's threatening to hurt tourism profits during the lucrative carnival season. Hundreds of volunteers have joined government workers in helping clean up the oil. Hi everyone, I'm Carl Azus. Welcome to the world from A to Z. As hundreds of millions of Chinese join other Asian countries and communities in Lunar New Year's celebrations, China's government's trying to erase criticism of the nation's economic struggles. According to an economist interviewed by the Business Insider news company, there are two main problems with China's economy. One, it's weak. Two, investors aren't confident that's going to change much in the foreseeable future. The country's stock market's been on the slide this year. China's seen major real estate problems, as we reported last month. Investors from other countries have been pulling money out of China and putting it in other nations. But why does any of this matter outside of China? Well, for one thing, the Asian country is known as the world's factory. It makes a lot of stuff that people globally use every day. With the second largest population, China also buys a lot of goods from around the world, and with the second largest economy, it invests and builds in other places. So if the Chinese economy slows down, the global economy can slow down with it. China's communist government doesn't want that to happen, and it doesn't want people in China criticizing the economy. Because it controls the media, it can make that criticism disappear.
In December, China's Ministry of State Security issued this order: resolutely crack down and punish illegal criminal activities that endanger national security in the economic security field. Apparently, that includes disappearing negative commentary from the already heavily censored Chinese internet. On December 1st, this prominent economic professor, Liu Jipeng, advised people not to invest in the falling Chinese stock market. Now, all of Professor Liu's social media accounts are frozen. And when you click to follow him, you get this message, which translates: it is forbidden to follow this user due to their violation of relevant rules. CNN found similar freezes temporarily imposed on at least 5 other Chinese economic analysts. Also removed from the internet, this documentary highlighting economic hardship among Chinese migrant workers. Officially, the Chinese economy grew by more than 5% last year, but the country's youth unemployment rate keeps hitting record highs. Across the country, protests as angry new homebuyers demand completion of unfinished homes that they've already paid for. In the past 3 years, the combined Chinese stock market lost more than $6 trillion.
I haven't made any money out of the stock market, so I sold all my stocks.
The Chinese economy is strong, and it will be stronger, says this Beijing resident. Perhaps she got the message from this recent meeting of the country's top propaganda officials. Their order: amplify bright prospects of the economy as China heads into 2024.
On this date in world history. February 13th, 1689, William and Mary were crowned King and Queen of England, becoming William III and Mary II. Tensions between Catholics and Protestants gave rise to a bloodless revolution that resulted in the overthrow of Mary's father, King James II. William and Mary were co-rulers until her death in 1694. French inventors Auguste and Louis Lumière patented something on this date in 1895 that changed how we see the world. It was called the cinematograph, and it could capture and project moving pictures. What's widely considered the first one of those was called Workers Leaving the Lumière Factory. And February 13th in the year 2000 was when the last original Peanuts comic appeared in the Sunday paper. Charles Schulz, who'd created Charlie Brown, Lucy, and Snoopy, had passed away in his sleep hours before the final comic was delivered. The man who'd said all he wanted to do was draw funny pictures had seen his work in papers for half a century.
World of knowledge. At the end of World War II, who predicted that 2 or 3 superstates, each in possession of an atomic bomb, would probably exist in a permanent state of Cold War? Harry Truman, Winston Churchill, George Orwell, John Steinbeck. This description, which preceded the Cold War between the United States and the Soviet Union, was written by British author George Orwell.
Authorities in Washington state were blown away to find a Cold War-era missile inside a local man's garage. It started when police were contacted by the Air Force Museum in Dayton, Ohio, who said a resident in Bellevue, Washington called about donating a deceased neighbor's very unique antique, a Douglas Air 2 Genie, a Cold War-era rocket designed to carry a nuclear warhead. Police and bomb squad officials visited the house and did find the relic rocket, but only as a former shell of itself, rusted out with no warhead attached. The rocket was deemed inert and thus okay for donation. The cops posted to Twitter along with a pithy Rocket Man reference saying they think it's gonna be a long, long time before they get another call like this one.
Next report introduces you to an American man named Ron Rosas. He'd been playing and excelling at tennis since age 7. But starting in December of 2022, when Rosas was in his early 50s, pneumonia and the life-threatening complications that came with it threatened his ability to play tennis or many sports ever again. His determination, along with that of his doctors and his family, is why we're featuring his story today.
Ron Rosas was part of Notre Dame's tennis team that played for a national championship, but his life changed drastically. The 52-year-old father is now a quadruple amputee. Rosas was taken to the ER for a pneumonia, where he was intubated, a breathing tube placed down his airway. Then complications. The pneumonia led to sepsis, or blood poisoning. Rosas recovered from the infection, but the tissue in his lower legs and parts of his arms did not. Much of all 4 limbs had to be amputated, including much of his tennis arm. Over 2 million people in America live with limb loss, and that's a change harder than most. But Rosas wouldn't stay defeated. He reached out to a specialist known for reconstructing threatened limbs.
Without any sort of hesitation, he said, "My goal is to play tennis."
So they went for it. After 70 hours of surgery, Rosas had a reconstructed arm.
We not only added healthy tissue, but we brought 3 small muscles from his chest wall and then plugged in the nerves that used to control the hand.
The procedure was expensive, but former Notre Dame teammates banded together to launch a fundraiser to help the Rosas family pay for it. And within 48 hours, they had raised $100,000. Months later, Rosas is taking steps without a walker, and he's working out his prosthetic arm. The golden ticket back to playing the game he loves.
The Crimson Tide and the Falcons are in today's world of viewers. From the Keystone State of Pennsylvania, we welcome Mr. Blankenhorn's class. Great to see y'all at DHH Langle Middle School in Pottsville. And show me state of Missouri, that's where Mr. Buck's class is. Hello to everyone at Staley High School. It's in the city of Kansas City. Calls police do not commonly get in Tampa, Florida.
911, do you need police, fire, or medical?
I guess police. There's a kangaroo in my apartment complex.
And by kangaroo, she meant a kangaroo. A member of a species not indigenous to Florida managed to get loose there. Police didn't say how, but according to the Reuters news agency, some unusual wildlife can be kept as pets in the Sunshine State if owners have the right permit. In this case, they did, and deputies were able to corral the roo and get it back to its owner. Kangaroos can swim. I just learned that today. So maybe the pool marsup appealed to it. It got a kick out of being there. It's just where it wanted to wallaby. Might seem kangarooed to kick it out, but something strange was afoot. No matter how far a roo roams from home, it's always just a hop, skip, and a jump away. I think he was just hopping for a poolside celebration of Lunar New Year, y'all. And that brings our show full circle. I'm Carl Azus for The World from A to Z. We're kangarooting for you to join us again tomorrow.